Ho there out in Spray Wash land. Ray will be joining me again here in just a little bit. He's going to be running just a little bit behind. And so I'm going to rock my Australia shirt, my Soft Wash Australia shirt tonight, and getting ready for the huge convention, which I can't wait. Be there tomorrow, get in fairly early, and then going to go to some. Nick Weisenberger is doing a roof rejuvenation class, I guess it is. And so I'm going to go and check that out as well. And so again, Ray will be joining me here shortly. And I'm noticing that we really don't have a topic to talk about tonight. So I wanted to just kind of explore a couple things. And while I'm waiting for Ray here, I just thought, man, I had a thought that was in my head, and pew, it just, you know how that goes. Hey, Mr. Michael, we got the two Michaels in the house. Michael J and Michael Shane is in here. Um, so today, somebody had posted about doing some oxidation cleaning on a roof, and I wanted to chat on that while I'm waiting for Ray to show up real quick. And it's kind of one of the important things about having different tools in your toolkit, right? So I don't remember what product it was that he was trying, and he was getting it, but it wasn't coming clean enough. And so, we did some texting back and forth, and he ended up going with some F13 gutter grenade and said it was working really, really well, especially when you're dealing with oxidation. Hey, Mr. Anthony, he's on here. We will be seeing you, I think, at the metal class. I think that's the one, right? Maybe I got that mixed up. Sorry if I did. Anyhow, so I guess the point to that really was that having multiple tools in your toolkit to do a job, especially when you get to something like oxidation. And a lot of times we talk about, on the exterior cleaning side of it, and we're always talking about soft washing, but sometimes you need to bring in a little bit of extra pressure and things to that nature. So going to kind of chat about that for a little bit while I'm waiting on Ray to show up. Because again, we have no real agenda or topic tonight. I am going to say that, of course, the huge convention kicks off this week. So I leave out of here and I'll be there. I think, like I said, I get in right at about 3 o'clock, and then get ready for the very first night. I typically am not too available. I try to. I want to be ready. I feel like people paid to come to the class, and they need us to be sharp and ready to go. So if you're going to the huge convention and you're expecting for like a night out, before the classes and all that, that's not going to happen. I just can't, because for me, I feel like people are paying us to come and give them a good quality education, and I want to be on top of my game to be able to do that. I feel like that's the right thing to do. And then Thursday, I've got pretty much going around just enjoying some of the different classes and things of that nature that'll be out there. And then Friday, I'll do a class. I think it's at 2 o'clock, a breakout session that will be about, stop managing and start leading, kind of a thing. Kind of just a way to deal with employees in today's marketplace, and just some things to think about as a leader instead of a manager, kind of a thing, and how the two roles have to kind of float together a little bit. So I'll discuss that a little bit. And again, that's Friday, and then Saturday morning, bright and early, I'm up and out of there. So I do have a couple more tickets to give away. So if you're looking for tickets for the huge convention, drop a little note. I guess all my notes are on that side. Drop a little note over there saying that you're looking for tickets, and we'll see what we can do for you. And again, going back to that oxidation thing, and just having the different tools in the toolkit. Sorry, I'm bouncing around a little bit here. I got something going on over here that's taking up my attention. Plus, I'm waiting on Ray, and inevitably, you know what happens? I get centered on a conversation. I get started on something. I get focused on something, and then Ray pops in, and then we go into different directions and all that kind of stuff. So anyhow, that's just the way it is. Wild West is in the house, and hey, fam, driving and listening, just listening, so you won't be probably piping in too much. I was thinking that you did a video today, Wild West, but that wasn't you. That was Mitch, and I'm gonna have to have a chat with him. about some things, but I'm not going to here. Not going to do that here. But anyhow, so again, just getting into having the different tools. So the video that was showing was about doing some oxidation removal. He was scrubbing on it, and it wasn't all coming clean. It was really hard to tell from the video, but then I got some clarification, some backup pictures, and if you've got F13 gutter grenade, Gutter Butter is a really good product. Pat Clark makes that. Gutter Butter, F13 gutter grenade, and then you've got Cleansol BC. You do have the Zep Purple degreaser, and then there's a new one that's come out by the Power Wash store. I can't remember what it's called. But having all of them on site, especially for a large job, can be extremely important. We're going to cover that some in the metal cleaning class that's going to happen tomorrow, not tomorrow night. The following night was that Wednesday night. That is going to be for pro members or paid members. Pro members get in for free, but everybody else has to pay for that class. Alan Paul, see you at the Huge, man. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm getting excited about being there. Last year I had to miss it because I caught COVID, and I was actually right at and I got a thought flowing through my head too about something that happened to me today that I'm probably going to share with y'all. But I was actually just getting over COVID, or was supposed to, when the Huge convention was starting last year. I was going to be at my 10-day mark, but I just felt like, I don't think it's right to show up after just having it and all that. And then as it turned out, that was the very first time I had COVID, and I was super, super sick. And so I couldn't have done the classes anyhow if I would have gone. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, again, waiting for Ray to show up. I'm going to talk a little bit about paying attention, and something that happened to me today. I'm working on a really large project. For those of you that don't know, in a former life, I used to flip houses. Owned a very large house flipping company, and I bought another house to live in / flip. We're going to live in it for about 2 years, and then we're going to sell it. And every 2 years you sell it tax free, kind of a thing. So anyhow, I bought this house and needs everything, needs all kinds of work. And one of the things, so we need to redo all the plumbing for the well, and so we don't have the water on there yet. We did get the power on, and just it's overgrowth like crazy. It's been raining here really bad. So I went ahead and cut a whole bunch of stuff down, got it ready. Well, I started to burn today, and got all that stuff going. I got it. I'm keeping the pile manageable, just because if I don't want it to get away, because I'm burning out in the field, and there's a lot of dead grass around. Even though the ground is saturated, there's a lot of dead grass. I don't want it to get away from me. So anyhow, started burning. Everything's going great. Well, hotter, I went and I took a break, right? I was sitting at the truck. I was having lunch. I was drinking some waters and all that. Well, it wasn't in clear view of where my fire was today. And the next thing I know, I just started seeing a whole bunch of smoke. And I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be good. I go out just in time to see the wind is fanning the flames across the field and right to this tree, right before it gets to the neighbor's property. And the tree just goes, everything underneath that tree just ignites like crazy. And I'm thinking, okay. And then beyond that tree is really tall grass that if it would have all started lighting up. Luckily for me, it's dead grass, but there was also a lot of good green grass in there, so it didn't want to take off. The tree didn't end up igniting; just everything underneath it did, and I had to fight to get it to get it out. But I did finally get it, so there's that. And Ray's finally here. See, you came in at the right time this time.
Perfect. What's going on?
Normally you come in when I'm in the middle of something, but now this time I was at the end. So
all right,
good.
Actually had it wrapped up, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. That's what I want to get into, build some quick capital, and then invest in the short-term rentals. Yeah, Jonathan, and I'll tell you, again, for us, we did that every 2 years. We would move, so we would buy, fix it, and then live in it for 2 years, sell it tax-free while we did our other ones. Because I mean, at the time, $50,000 tax-free was really nice, and sometimes you'd get more than that. But anyhow. Ray, why are you late this evening?
I am late because we're getting ready for the huge convention. And as I was home and I had everything all set up, Tanya said, well, why are you setting this up here? I was like, to do our show. And she said, well, no, you can't do that because Finn's going to be way too preoccupied with you. He's already bummed that I'm leaving town for a week.
Yeah.
Load the car and blah, blah, blah. So she actually ran me out of my house and to the office.
Well, that's a good excuse. I mean, for running you out of your house, other than normally where she just kicks you out and says, get out.
Yeah, right? True. That's what usually happens. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm real excited and got the manuals, carrying, the plant and property box is always one of those things that gets real strange whenever you put it. They X-ray that box because of all the unique trinkets and.
But we're not having the box this year, right?
No, I'm bringing the box. I'm bringing the box
shipped
now.
it to them.
Yeah, okay, I actually it's going on my luggage with me. So. Yeah, it'll be fun. So I might get a free colonoscopy courtesy of TSA tomorrow morning, but we'll see.
Yeah. And we normally go out to a grocery store and buy salt.
Yes,
because it's a big part of our discussion. And I don't think we'll do that because I don't think we got a car this year. I didn't get a car. I
didn't get a car either. We may have to change that and get a car today. Or tomorrow.
I decided I better button up this button because I was looking too sexy.
Too sexy? Oh no, Michael! Good luck, buddy. I'll say a prayer for you tonight. That'll change the way you work a little bit right there.
Yeah, Michael said that. What last week you said? I think last week or 2 weeks ago you said that. Yeah, that's got to be a bummer. But yeah, that you got to get that taken care of so that you'd be ready for washing. You got to keep washing, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to the hotel. I went to a Prudential real estate convention there probably back in about 93, 94, whenever it was a lot smaller than it was now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting.
They got like an indoor water park. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I know there's just at least a big atrium with waterfalls and all. I don't know if it's on a full water park or not. I'm not quite sure.
I think they've got water rides and all that because I know I think they said that there's a charge for going through the water park or whatever there is. I'm not sure.
You're talking about. I think I walked in on the tail end of you talking about real estate and flipping and all that good stuff. That was. I guess we were doing it about the same time, and that was, what got me into washing was the total complete market collapse in 2009. And I always remember that I was at the courthouse step. I had a real well-funded partner, and hey, we bought a house for $197,000. I got to have the check to the clerk of courts by 4:00 p.m. today. All right, cool. It'll be in the bank. We had a great relationship with Regions at the time. We could just have an account go in there and pull out whatever money we needed. It was always there. And we saw that during that big run craziness of the real estate market by 2003, 2004, literally we had started doing real estate development. You could not buy foreclosures anymore because of all the pre-development, and everybody had kind of found out about that thing, and they were jumping on and buying these things and just going crazy with it. And I remember also the pre-sales here in Florida with the beach condos were another thing that were just going nuts.
Everything was.
A bailiff that I knew up there. In fact, he and my dad served on a police force together. He was, riding out his 30 with the county and up there as a bailiff. And he said, man, I'm not letting you guys have all the fun. My wife and I went and bought this past weekend. We went over to Panama City and bought 2 condos. Awesome. Pre-speculation market, pre-market condos. And I was like, really? He said, yeah. And I remember at that point, and these condos back then in Panama City were still $350,000, $400,000. and and I remember thinking to myself, going, man, this is just, it's kind of crazy, because you figured a bailiff back in 2005, a bailiff with 30 in was making $60,000 or so, maybe. Yeah, I think his wife was a school teacher. There was literally no way to cash flow that, and that's, one of the things that banks used to do was look at, could you cash flow that? Do you have the debt to income ratio to pay for this, even if you aren't renting it? And so you wouldn't even be able to count rental income in a lot of cases on there. And I mean, it's shocking, but they were getting so crazy with the mortgages back then that they were just tossing them out like, oh, here, fog this mirror. Okay, cool. You made
as long as you breathe, you can get a loan. Yep.
And they were like hardcore. You had to close contracts, and if you didn't, you had to, you lost out on $50,000, $100,000 binder money on there. And I know a ton of people that just walked away from the binder money instead of risking everything. And this was binders that were borrowed. Nobody had 50,000. Not many people had the $50,000 cash. So they were borrowing against their 401ks. They were borrowing against their IRAs on there. And it really devastated a lot of people back in those days.
Yeah. I know for us, I mean, I still wish that we would have kept, I totally should have kept some of them as rentals, but we were just, I mean, we were buying 1, 2, 3 houses a week sometimes. Yeah. And, just going absolutely crazy. The crews fixing them, and, we'd get them on the market and they would sell. And, it was a crazy time. And, looking back on it again, had we kept them as rentals instead of selling them, money might have been a little bit tighter to a certain degree. But at this point, $100 million would not be out of.
I mean, at what they're valued at now at this point, where we've seen double and tripling of values in some of the real estate is downright.
Well, interestingly enough, a friend of mine that passed away, they sold his house, and he got, I think they got like $325 for his house, I think is what it was, and it's a house that at the time, I probably could have bought on the courthouse steps for $28,000.
Wow.
Kind of a thing. And so that's why I say, I mean, you look at some of the houses that, and now we would often buy houses for $100,000 kind of a thing. And that was probably the average price range, was probably around $100,000. But we bought plenty of houses in that 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then, up to the 250, 300 range even. So, but what those houses are valued at today is absolutely insane when you look at it. And it wasn't a very big house. I mean, his house was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and it sold for over $300,000. So,
wow. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we're even watching it with my daughter, who, she decided to sell her house. We didn't like some of the things happening in the neighborhood where she was living. We helped her buy a house a few years ago. She flipped that house, made a goodly sum of money on there for, a 30-year-old woman, and now sat there and has, the market has continued to escalate since last November. And also rates have gone up, and has put her purchasing power. She had a purchasing power of 250. Now her purchasing power is more like 200,000 because of the rise up in the rates, and literally cannot find anything. So, hey, Todd, what's happening?
Yep. And that's just it. If you don't get it, I mean, and I'm hearing people say, well, the market's going to come back down. It's going to come back down. It's going to come back down. I'm not betting and banking on that. Matter of fact, I'm betting and banking the other direction, to be honest with you.
The National Association of Home Builders showed some downtrending for the last 2 months in a row, and they're saying it is eerily similar to 2009. Now, one of the big differences in 2000, the credit, I've heard a couple of interesting things. One, that if you look at, somebody was telling me the other day, who was a washer, and he said the amount of, because they also did bank inspections,
Uh-huh.
the amount of bank inspections that they have been doing has been insane lately, which says there's a bunch of foreclosures, coming up on.
Well, that's because they had a moratorium on foreclosures, though. Remember,
Yeah,
because
that's
of
true.
COVID, they had a moratorium on them. So I do expect a lot of foreclosures to be hitting the market sometime in the near future because of that. It's got to catch up, but I don't know. I still don't think the market's going down, even though that's going to happen. I mean, I could see it dipping a little bit, but I don't see it being a hardcore dip, not even remotely.
Right. It'll be interesting. And then you have all this weirdness going on with the rental market. And you also have these big conglomerates that are buying up houses as well, which kind of is a little scary itself,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my daughter just bought her first house, and she's 23 years old, and just bought her first place, and well, she bought it. I guess she's probably getting close to a year now. I think maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super happy that she did that. But anyhow, and just so that y'all know, Ray's daughter is available. She's 30 and available, right?
That's right, 30 and flirty. Just turned 32.
Just throwing it out there.
Absolutely. She's a workout freak. Hits the gym like every day now at 5:30 a.m. She's insane.
Wow.
Yeah. I've seen her on here before. Let's see here. Right. Same position as Ray. Todd's. I like Daniel's comment. Buy bleach at $3.10 a gallon and sling it on houses for $2.50 an hour. Pretty good flip. Yeah.
Yep.
Todd saying they're the same daughters in the same position. And but that's the question, Jonathan. How will it correct? How will it make for people to afford a home? That's the interesting part there, because prices have to come down, and that's the weird part.
The other side of it, though, is that it used to be that you could be a one-income family and buy a house. Now you pretty much have to be a two-income family, or you got to have a really good career, like a wash career, right? In order to be able to afford these prices. That's the only place where I see an issue with the correction side of it.
Hold on. You got to hold on. And wait, Jonathan, thankfully, no. She has hair and she's beautiful. She favors her mom. So not me. Yeah. Oh, Lordy.
There you go.
So, but let's talk about something you had there. It's a common feature to so many things that we talk about, Doug. But this is why you run a business like a business.
Yep.
And yeah, you got to have a service type business to afford. And let's face it, by and large, people who figure out a service business tend to do very well. The carpet cleaners that I know that have it figured out do well. The pressure washers that have it figured out do well. The painters that I know that have it figured out do well. I mean, let's go down the list of service people that do well with their businesses.
Yeah.
Now, think about, for everyone that does well, there's 30 or 40 in any given profession that are not doing well.
If you look at a lot of the groups, and I don't mean the wash groups, right? I'm talking about any group that you get into, you'll find a bunch of people complaining about how things don't work, or they're getting saturated, or, one of the biggest ones I always like to refer us to are the lawn mowing companies, right? Lawn maintenance, where you've got companies running around that have big 4-door Isuzu trucks, right? With this, $200,000 worth of truck and equipment. And then you've got other guys running around with pickups and trailers saying we can't, it's a saturated market. No, it's your view. It's your opinion. It's how you do business.
Right.
If you run a business like a business, there's lots of work out there.
Well, and if you compare a guy with 4 people in a 4-door, a cab over a Isuzu, with $200,000 worth of equipment on there, and they crawl out of that truck like army ants getting all over a place, versus a guy that's pulling around his Simpson pressure washer, and quite honestly, the guys that are the bigger company can afford to work for less than the guy who is pulling the Simpson pressure washer around, because they've got to make payroll. They've got to keep these people going. Now, they may not always work for less on things, but it becomes,
and they're probably not providing the service.
What's that?
They're probably also not providing the same level of service.
True. They're probably not.
Right.
And well, which one are you saying is not providing the same level of service?
The big company.
Well, yeah.
In a lot of cases, I think when you have, I mean, that's hard to say, because like with my company, I mean, if we set 4 guys on a house, I mean, that house got knocked out pretty quick, but the service was amazing, outstanding.
I would actually say, now, you may not have the personal service, you may not have the personal touch, but I would actually say you got one guy on a string trimmer, you got one guy on an edger, one guy mowing, and the other guy moving stuff for them. I don't know. I think their service might be pretty good, and it gets done really, really quick, too. As opposed to the one guy that's out there.
That's true.
And so, and I've seen that with spray wash. I'd go into some of these groups back when I ran spray wash, going, guys going, oh, well, I'd be at $575 for that house. And I'm thinking, dude, we'd be knocking that mother out for $290. And I would do 5, 6 of them in a day on one truck.
Mm-hmm.
You can dream all you want to about these higher prices, but let's face it, the bigger companies can do it for a lower price and still be profitable doing it.
And even be more profitable sometimes. Yeah.
So have you noticed all the wash equipment that's for sale before early fall hits? Rusty, I have. I've seen a lot more wash equipment this year than I have in years past. I mean, a ton of it coming.
And some of it's some pretty good equipment. I mean, I see full trailers with lots of, good equipment on it. And I've been amazed that, I mean, I'm like, man, I might have to get back in the business just because that's a good deal.
Yeah. Well, I personally believe, and this industry is due for a correction in its market itself. It needs to have one. It desperately needs to have one. Whenever I look at some of the questions that are out there I mean, just blowing my mind questions out there, just how can you call yourself a professional by asking this? How can you say you're doing, I mean, I would be,
and we all know that they're not professionals at that point. They're trying to,
and they're not
portraying themselves as professionals.
Oh my God. I still see the question about what is SH every day, and people not understanding the difference between the 6 and the 12 and I mean, it's downright shocking to
SH is sodium hyperchlorite.
Yep.
Hyperchlorite.
Yep.
Hyperchlorite.
And
I can't remember who that was that was touting himself as a guru. And
hyperchlorite.
Sodium hyperchlorite.
Steve is 100% right. Buy up all that used equipment. We know what material shortages can do, and we're still seeing that. We still haven't recovered from the tank shortages. I mean, I can't find. I had a very good friend that needed some tanks the other day, and I had to disassemble a skid.
Oh, geez.
To send him a soap tank.
Truth Seeker, I'm seeing it on Facebook Marketplace. He's asking, where do you find it?
And there's that buy-sell pressure wash equipment. You used to see just an absolute, it may be a decent trailer, but you see it on there at $14,000, $15,000, $20,000, and you're thinking, a little pricey, but I see nice trailers now up there at, $7,500, $8,500 going, that's $12,000 worth of equipment right there.
Yeah. Ever changing.
SH. Yep. SH.
It's what we refer to Ray as sometimes.
Oh man. So are you ready to mold some impressionable young minds tomorrow?
Absolutely. Not tomorrow. It's Wednesday. Yeah. Wednesday. I am. We've had some I've had some good phone calls, good conversations with people that are excited to come and learn. got I talked with a couple today that I hope they do it. I hope that they show up. I don't know yet. They just found out about the huge convention today, I think today or yesterday, and they own a lawn care business. They've been in business, I want to say 20 years or so, in lawn care, and he's pressure washing the side. They're wanting to, I think, retire. They're going to move away, and they want to start something new, and they want to look at this industry. And I think that because of his background and because of talking to his wife, I think he would do really well. So I hope that they show up. I hope that they're able to make it.
Mhm.
Because that's one of the things I think I see with the people that are investing in the education. That you're going to be putting out a better washer, and the odds of success are much higher because they're investing in themselves and their education and their knowledge. And one of the people that I spoke with is his main thing is he wants to learn how to sell the plant and property, because he finds that to be super important, and I think it's super important. And so that right there, in and of itself, those are the kinds of people I like to teach and I like to talk with. People that want to do it right, and it's not just about the money. Yes, you can make excellent money in this industry. You got two living proofs right in front of you, but I like to see people that want to do it for the right reasons as well, and not just for money.
Yeah. 100%. And I think, and Todd has a comment up here now. I talked to the fellow washer about coming on board, approached me and said things have slowed down for him. Nice setup, pondering whether to do it or not, but it's a good time. And I hear this across the board. I am hearing guys who are predominantly residential in nature saying, what the hell happened? What the hell happened? And it might, get ready for it. It might not change till November. This is a big election. It is a big election year right now. It's, election years, typically speaking, it's slow. We've got talk of a recession that will make stuff slow. Right now it's August. My two slowest months for residential were always February and August.
Mine were always January and February. December, January, February. I'm sorry.
Kids are going back to school now. Ironically, August used to be an amazing month for us because of the colleges and universities and apartments here in town. But residentially, it was that. And I see, I hear it, guys that I'm on the phone with. I hear it, guys that come in the store. Everybody's sitting here saying this. So.
I think he's referring to the Jeremy Brook up above. Yeah. Getting his stuff in there. Yeah.
And that's true. It's one of the things that Steve is saying. Find clients that aren't affected by recessions. 100%. They say that the two people that aren't affected by recessions are the very wealthy and the very poor. They don't really change their habits a lot. And the very poor aren't using our services anyway.
If they are, they're seriously looking for the $49 guy.
No, I mean the very poor, the ones that are renting, the ones in Section 8 property, the ones that are allowing the government to subsidize a lot of what they're getting already. So it's not necessarily changing their way of life. But in the very rich, I mean, the nouveau riche, the Bitcoin billionaires, they might be taking it in the shorts a little bit right there.
Yeah. Well, when you look at all the money that's floating around and going in the wrong direction half of the times, I don't know. Like a lot of times the guy, even renters, you were mentioning the renters. That's where I was trying to go with that. I have had renters pay us to clean their properties before. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I mean, not often, but yeah, it's happened.
But it can happen. It's just that it's not very often that it happens. And then you get some of these apartment complexes, and they use their own in-house person to do it and just destroys the property, the concrete and everything else. It's horrible. The apartment complex my son lives in is that way, where they've butchered all the concrete. I mean, all brand new concrete, and they just went in there with a 15-degree tip, and luckily it wasn't a 0 degree, but 15-degree tip, and just Zorroed it up. I'm feeling off today. You know that? I don't know if it's the fire that I almost started, or no, it's just I was out in the heat, but I'm really feeling off today. But I'm still going to be there, and I'll be in good shape, just so you all know that.
The could be that miswiring that you did on that house. Is that the
Yeah. No, that's not it. I didn't mess up any wiring. Now, come on. No, FedEx messed up the wiring.
Chet, I don't disagree. I mean, yeah. What can you say? 100%. You know, it's this is going to happen. This is where our and this all has a direct correlation and impact on our business, you know, as well.
Well, but the problem here is that Chet's wrong. Okay, and let me explain why. Because 87,000 IRS agents are coming after all of us. That they already told us they're not coming after us. They wouldn't lie to us now, would they?
No, not again. Not again.
No,
you know,
not again.
Actually, Doug, and I forgot to sit here. I started to say this, but you know what you're talking about earlier with the you know, the services have good businesses. What us having a service business, it can be a very good business. But this is also why whenever you have a service business, it really is going to take 2 years of a proven income for you to be drawing a salary or substantiating what you make, or the bank isn't going to give you a loan out there.
And you need to be paying yourself and showing that you are factually making an income from that business.
Right. Not a VA, a FHA, or a conventional type mortgage. Sure, you might get something hinky. And you know, the other thing, you know, there's a guy that's famous for loving to post the pictures of the big checks that he gets, and it's always made out to him personally, and very rarely ever his pressure washing company. And you have got to be a damn fool if you're going on to Facebook groups and posting checks made out to you for business that you've done.
Mm-hmm. That's just not being smart, not even remotely. Woo! I mean, you're totally asking for trouble. Now they're saying that anybody. So one of the comments that I saw was about making over 400,000, but is that over 400,000 in sales? That's going to be all of y'all. I mean, you should be. Most companies here are going to be over 400,000 in sales. I think, you know, as you progress in business, you should be hitting that mark.
Yeah,
depending on where you're going, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is it going to? Yeah, let's hope so out there. Yeah. So I had and I saw him on earlier, but Daniel Howerton, who's just a dear friend of mine, an amazing window cleaner, and he can also help you with your high-rise projects if you ever have any of those around the states. He is fully roped.
You can bid the job because Daniel can come and do it for you.
That's right. He is fully ropes qualified. Pretty amazing guy. Clearview Window Cleaning out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina. But Daniel and I were talking this morning, and he says, yeah, you know, my goal is I have an exit plan, and I want to be totally out of the service business end of things within X amount of years. And I said, and I'm not going to give away those trade secrets that what he told me. And I said, Daniel, what do you mean? You know, I said, why? And he has a real interesting way of thinking about things. And he says, you know, you think about the labor market that we have today. You think about the people that are out there. You think about what's going on. You can't make people happy, but those employees today are going to be homeowners, and they're going to be project managers, and they're going to be the people that are hiring us in 5 or 8 years.
How scary is that?
And think about just let that sink in. Some of these, I guess, are they millennials now, or what do they call this age group that would be in their mid-20s at this point?
I think they're still millennials, but I'm not.
But could you imagine working for them and the obtuseness that they have about how the goings on of life really are? I think they would actually be horrible, horrible bosses to have. And by bosses, I mean them who hire us for a job. So, you know, no, it's not Gen Z. The Gen,
Yeah, that's what it's saying. It's Gen Z.
I'm technically Gen X. Now I'm, yeah. Hold on.
It says where millennials end and Generation Z begins.
Okay.
I guess.
Gen Z is born between 97 and 2012. They are currently between 9 and 24 years old, nearly 68 million in the US. And that's actually a lot of freaking people because we're what, 350 million people.
Are we talking alive or dead? Voting. Are we talking about voters? Because that could be.
So, yeah, if we're talking about voters, that could be hundreds and millions. So Gen Y or millennials were born between 81 and 94. They are currently between 25 and 40 years old, 72 million in the US. Gen X, that would be me and you, Doug, I believe.
There you go.
65 and 1980 and are currently between 41 to 56, and there's 62 million of us. And the baby boomers, there's 71 million of those. So there's actually more Gen Y than anybody else. Interesting. Or millennials than anybody else right now. And then, which ones are the ones that can't figure out where to pee from? Would that be the Gen Zs?
I think that's the Gen Zs.
Or is that the millennials?
I think the millennials kind of started it. I mean,
the millennials are between 25 and 40 years old. So between the millennials and the Gen Zs, they can't figure out if they have innies or
outies. Yeah. So this wasn't meant to be a political discussion, but that's the direction we're going tonight, I guess. You know, I tell you what, though, if we really got into a political discussion, whoo, man, would that be heated?
I don't really think it would be very heated. I think it'd be a bunch of guys out here just saying, yeah.
Well, just yeah. Because people that are most service business owners and not just washers, all are going to pretty much lean the same direction. So it's not going to be heated as far as, you know, discussions back and forth bashing or, you know, whatever that, just more about the way things are going and society. And, you know, again, talking about, you know, you can't figure out if you got an innie or an outie and all these kinds of stupid things. And I mean, teaching 5-year-olds how to, whether to choose their, I don't get any of that. So,
and this is where
I don't understand. Here's the thing. I don't understand. And the reason I don't think we can put it together, and I think I shared this with you, is that I don't have the mental capacity to understand their line of thinking. I
really don't.
I cannot understand how you can say the male female side of it. I can understand that you can say, you know, this person's gay or this person's a lesbian or, you know, whatever. I get all that. I don't have a problem with any of it. But when you sit there and say, I can't, you know, I'm not a man or a woman. I'm a they or them. And you want my brain can't process that. It doesn't make sense. Right.
I just, you know, I always think of, no, I can't even say that. I was thinking Andrew Dice Clay back in the day.
For those of you who don't know who Andrew Dice Clay
guy's hairy ass and say, "Oh, I gotta have a piece of that." No, but you know, that's the point. Though I don't care, and most people I know do not care, and in fact, I don't care if you're homosexual, if you're heterosexual. I don't care. It's not a part of my daily thinking, my daily life, my anything.
Not part of my
And,
give
and,
a rip.
and I don't want anybody else sitting here thinking that I don't want my grandson to be exposed to that either. I don't want Finn to know in first, second, or third grade about any of this. Let's work on the colors, the letters, and the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need to worry about.
Well, there was I remember years ago, and we should have seen it back then, really, but they were starting to teach how to put condoms on in like grade school or something like that. And it's like, why are you teaching kids at that age? I mean, I guess in one hand I understand it, but on the other hand I don't. That is really an impressive pole dance. I got to tell you, that was impressive. Where is that, by the way?
Oh, it's the damnedest thing I'd ever seen, Doug. Sorry, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Where was that at? Why do they have a pole that, right in the middle of their thing?
So we're actually at a place in Blountstown, Florida, about 60 miles over to the east, west of us, and some very good friends. They were having a fundraiser, and some very good friends of ours. They're restoring an old building downtown, this massive like concert venue, and keep in mind, Blountstown's a small town, and it's really on the straight and narrow. And so this is a little room off to the side of that event hall where they had all the food at. And we walked in there, and they're like, "There's a freaking stripper pole in here." And Bobby was born and raised. His dad was the town doctor and delivered about half the town. And he's like, "I've been here in Blountstown my whole life. I never knew we had a titty bar in Blountstown." I mean, I guess it was like for private parties or something, or it was just a damn hoot. And of course, I went up there and shook that thing, and it's anchored to the ceiling as well. I don't think it's a structural support.
It had a good flex to it, I'll tell you. You go back and watch that video. It's got a good flex.
but sprinkled cheeks would make a good. But and actually, Doug and I had this conversation earlier, Jonathan. Watching you explain how the mass psychosis have made these people think the way they do. And it was it was along a similar line. It was about a crime issue, but we've got to figure out we've got to get to the root cause of these issues with people, of why you feel this way, to figure this out, because it's a massively bad problem out there. And confusing these kids' sexuality is absolutely horrific. And I really do believe there are the groomers.
I think that's a lot of
groomers are the elementary school teachers. And my heart actually, God knows I am not a bleeding heart liberal at all. I'm much more of a libertarian, but my heart goes out to a lot of these people, because obviously most of them, whenever you look, they're miserable. You can tell they're miserable people inside. And it's like, okay, because I've been socially inept or unattractive, or, and look at me, being unattractive does not mean you need to be miserable.
I've never known that.
So, but these people are just obviously miserable, and it's like, I don't know, a cop out. Well, maybe it's because I'm a man trapped in a woman's body, or something like that. Or they say, hell, I'm going to try this out this other way and see if that's it. Or are they so into the Madison Avenue and now social media that's been foisted on us that everybody's supposed to be happy and joyful, and something must be wrong with me, so I'm going to do something different. And I'm asking these questions. I don't know. So,
I look at that and I say that, we're going way into a different area. So you can look at some children and that they are not going to, they're not going to be heterosexual, right? You know that. You can look at them and they're not going to be heterosexual. I can understand where somebody says, I prefer to live my life as a guy. Okay. I mean, I can mentally understand that, but still, you're still a woman, and, you can transition whatever. That's the part that I don't understand. I don't get where, it's male, female. There's a lot more to that, right? Where, I mean, genetics and different traits that men have over women and different diseases and, cancers and, these kinds of things. I mean, what do we do if we say that there's no, I don't get all that. So I just can't understand it.
I watched a video today on Libs of TikTok, and it was a man dressed up as a woman. And he was, a very effeminate man. And he was talking, he's so excited. He was at the university, and his makeup was all done up real pretty like. And he was excited because it's sorority rush week at University of Alabama. And it's sisterhood week. And I'm thinking, you're not a sister. You have a penis. I just, God, that would make a college rush sorority house uncomfortable as hell. It seems like, especially like, whenever you hooked up with the fraternity and those are your partners, for the dances you put together. It's like, okay, who gets a tranny? Not it.
I don't know. I mean, and in yeah. What they're going to end up doing in the military scares the dickens out of me. I mean, all that. How are they supposed to deal with that on that side of it? I mean, you just know.
I want to address this thing with Jeremy, by the way. Your rentals and short-term rentals, can you really get a great ROI from rental properties? The minimum ROI should be 100 and things. I wouldn't say a minimum ROI. I mean, it should be your minimum ROI should be a percentage, Jeremy. I think on really anything you do, and in your
washing business, real estate doesn't matter.
On a $2,000 note a month, that's not a really good ROI. I mean, you're not. That's 5% ROI on there. If anything goes wrong, if you have something break that you're replacing or fixing. So you've got to add those things on to your ROIs and have some reserves for that. So I'd say your ROI versus a fixed number should be. Now, if you had $1,000 cost and you were doing $100 a month, making $100 a month over 1,000, now that's 10%. That's, annualized out.
I think when you're looking at real estate like that, anyhow, you should be looking at not necessarily as short-term rentals, but as long-term rentals. Because that's where you're making your money over the long term, not necessarily the short run. So you end up with a large wealth at the end, but not in the beginning. But I completely agree with Ray. I don't think you should be looking at it as a dollar figure. It should be a percentage figure, right? You should be making a certain percentage of that. And if you're making 5%, I don't think that's a smart money move. 10% or better is to me is where you should be at. The higher, obviously, you can get in your percentage, obviously, the better. But you do have to think about all of those expenses that you will eventually run into. Mm-hmm. And so, if it's making $100 a month, I'm going to say you should have a minimum of $100 a month per rental going into a side kitty that is for repairs. Okay. And wait until it gets up to a certain dollar amount. So if you were only getting $100, you're at break even. And then
Airbnbs are a very, very good idea as well. That's one of the things that our friends who we went in Bluntstown with, he just bought a trailer park and it's a nice trailer park. And they're making the trailers in there Airbnbs and short-term rentals on there. It's nice because you follow a different set of laws with the Airbnbs. You're under more of a hotel law than you are a landlord law. Mm-hmm. And he had one tenant that did not pay, and it wasn't a lengthy eviction process. It was like a 72-hour eviction process. It was like you were defrauding a hotelier, or however you pronounce that. And that judge put his ass out like that, Yeah. It was a
That's true. If you look at short-term rentals, I guess I wasn't looking at that as the Airbnb side of it, and that's something that I've looked at as well.
Yeah,
we're talking about maybe buying a cabin, up in Tennessee somewhere, and using that as a getaway and as an Airbnb type, rental.
Right.
at the same
I mean,
time.
we do the Airbnbs a lot with as much as we travel. I mean, that's something that we started doing. Seasonal rentals. When we went down to Belize, I think everybody that has a condo in this one area, you can either rent it by the night, by the week, by the month, by the quarter, even if you wanted to.
The good side of them too is that you look at it. I mean, they can be incredibly cheap if you are, like if you're having a big family gathering, right? Like let's say you got 3 families coming together, you can rent a pretty good sized place for the entire family, and it really doesn't cost you that much when you are sharing it, right? And yet the person that's renting it to you is making good money at it. So I mean, we've done, like, we were up in the Salt Lake area, and we did an Airbnb. We're getting ready to go to Las Vegas. We're not going to do an Airbnb this time, only because I don't know. We just decided not to this
Probably
round.
too many good hotel deals.
Yeah, it really was.
Vegas. And 100%, you make your money when you buy something, not when you sell it. It's not a lot of times what you sell it for; it's what you paid for it. 100%, 100%.
I've been in dealing with real estate for a very long time, and the best deal I ever got, I purchased 2 years ago. Surprised the heck out of me.
Your commercial place.
Yeah, my building.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, my return on investment's amazing. If I could do those every day, I'd only buy I'd buy as many of them as I could buy, but
buy two a year and just boom. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you play your cards right and you do stuff right, and Emma, tell you what, that we'll take this discussion into just saving for the future. If you're not doing that, if you're not putting something away right now, I mean, I think you're missing the boat. There are guys that are out there right now that are in this industry that are still washing or own wash companies that are worth millions because of the investments that they've made, and you would never even know it. You'd talk to them and never even know it. And some of them you can tell. I know one person here locally, and if he's watching, maybe he'll figure it out. But I know one guy that's local here, and I know for a fact the dude is banked out really, really well because of how in the toys that he buys and how he buys them and how often he swaps them out. You don't do that unless you've got excess funds, right? And he doesn't brag about it. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't, none of that. It's just, you can tell. And so invest in your future now, and you won't have to struggle when you get to your golden years. You can retire early. If you're not putting money away, I want to smack you upside the back of the head.
Yeah, no, 100%,
Jonathan, I will look that up. Bigger pockets, I'll look that up.
But 6 months, damn sure might be rich. RV campers. I've seen that happen out there. Here's another one that's coming out now, talking about, just with the insanity of the sexualization that we're seeing, Doug, is right here. The understanding resilient strategies among minor attracted individuals. I've actually seen that. And then the bottom name is can't expect God to do all the work. But I've actually seen multiple things on TikTok, on the libs of TikTok, a Twitter feed that I follow. And it's a thing now where you've got and they don't want to be called pedophiles. They want to be called MAPs.
I heard something about that.
Persons. And they're trying to basically explain them away. And this is totally normal to be minor attracted. And some of them are minor attracted to very young people. And some are minor attracted to preteens. And some are still minor attracted to teenagers, but they're under 18.
Yeah, that's one. Katie, if you're watching, I love you, just so you know that.
I was a minor attracted person once.
You were.
whenever I was 15, 16 years old. My God. Oh,
I tell you, it has gotten so stinking stupid crazy that I'm gonna look that up what Jonathan's talking about, just because I'm curious on that side of it now, going back that direction. Don't ask why children need to see drag queens. Ask yourself why drag queens want an audience of children. Absolutely.
food for thought.
You got all the memes rolling tonight. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at, I get to see the background, right? He's looking at thousands of them. Pick and choose, buddy. Pick and choose. There he goes. Throw them out there. Oh, that's what's
only old guys will know this.
Did you see the one floating around that is Bill Clinton on his desk, and it's like, you know, the younger, or the what does it say? The younger generation won't realize that, or will realize
two people. There's two people in this photo. Yeah.
Because he's sitting at his desk with a big old smile on his face.
Yep. Absolutely.
Hey, if anybody needs a ticket to the huge, Big Ben is saying that he had one of his employees bail, and so he's got an extra ticket. Plus, we have extra tickets here at the Spray Wash Academy. Send me an email, Doug at spraywashacademy.com, or send it over to who was it that said that? Big Ben. I need to ask you, super straight dudes, if you saw me and didn't know I was non-binary, what would you tell your confused boner? I wouldn't even.
Look at the comment down there.
Bold of you to assume there would be a boner. There definitely would not be.
Oh,
that right there is probably a 400 pack. You know, you used to rate them by 6-pack, 12-pack. That I'd have to be.
No.
Yeah, I'd have to be passed out.
That doesn't happen. There's not enough beer in the world there. Oh goodness. Well, what another Monday night has gone by. I am truly excited. Cannot wait to get to Nashville. We're gonna have fun. Gonna be some great
Michael J. Right, it was Ron Jeremy.
Somebody asked, I think Mitch asked, when does it actually start? It officially starts on Thursday. Yeah. Thursday, Friday, there's classes. We have 3 classes ourselves coming up on Wednesday through Spray Wash Academy. There is
basics,
the basics, plant and property protection, and then metal roofing, talking about metal roofing. Yep. And that's going to be on Wednesday. Yeah. I think Howard Partridge is having a phenomenal class as well. So those are the pre-show classes.
I think there's three pre-show classes, aren't there?
Yeah, I saw somebody doing something technical, and I'm not quite sure what it was. So,
no, Jonathan, those the regular ticket does not get access to the spray wash classes. If you're talking about the huge convention ticket. I could post the link, I guess. Maybe something like that. Let's see. In as we head out the door, I'll post that link. And that's the link to the classes to pay for those classes. I think we should sneak peek at some of those dance moves. That's what I think.
No, I've done that once. That's no. Oh goodness.
Ray, it's been real. It's been fun.
Oh my God! Hold on, I just found it. That's what you're talking about right there.
They and them.
This will change everything. I'll just start calling myself they them. I'll change my my pronouns.
Yeah.
Oh, Doug.
Why is a rabbit a rabbit?
Well, biology,
Okay.
God's will. I mean, what do we want to say?
I mean, it's just so yeah. People. So some of the they and them types. That I mean, that's what they were saying is that it's just being a male or female is just something somebody made up. They picked it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is an ink pen. Somebody had to make up the, what do we call that? It's an ink pen. Okay. Everybody knows it's a freaking ink pen. It puts out ink. Okay. It might be a black ink pen or a blue ink pen or a green or a red or whatever, but it's an ink pen.
Mm-hmm.
And it has colors. So there you go. Yeah. It's still identified.
Well, I mean, that thing you can't assign, I don't know if it's sex or gender or whatever. I mean, just ask, the farmer that bought, a bunch of roosters and a bull. He never got any eggs and his milk tasted really, really funny. However, the bull was more than willing to get milked every morning.
Ray, Juan is asking, how much is the slim 100-gallon tank?
The slim 100-gallon tanks are typically about $300. I'm out. I don't have any. So maybe in the high 200s. But yeah, that's typically where the prices is. That resin charge is one of those things that we never know when they're going to come in. If you can find a tank, get it. That's something we're so behind on right now. Oh, goodness.
Man, excited to see y'all at the huge convention. See you here in a couple of days. It's going to be good to teach again.
It is. It is. We didn't get to really do it in the spring. Well, we didn't get to do it in the spring. You missed last year's huge. And then a lot of the stuff was closed up earlier that year. Yeah, you're on a little bit of a hiatus from it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And Juan, if you want to call in and holler at the front desk tomorrow, they'll take your name down, put you on a list, and I can call you when we get tanks in. So that's about the only way we can do it. I can't really reserve them because I literally never know when they will come. Never know. Yeah. Henry, same place where mine are. Oh, but I did get your solenoid in. Doug, see you tomorrow, buddy.
We'll see y'all. See you at the huge.
All right, bye. I'll call you when I hit that place, Nashville.
There you go.
All right, bye.
See you.